got I'm going to kind of just show the components of the TTI exhaust system. It comes in sections where you clamp it together, and all the hardware, hangers, clamps. I guess like an X-pipe. Mufflers. These are the hanger brackets that came with the TTI kit I bought for this car, and these were not here. I'm just kind of showing what I did. You can see I took a couple pieces of metal here off of both of these. I put them in here. I weld them. They're at an angle for a reason, and I'll show that when I go into the car, or when I install these. I'll come back and capture that. But these go here, up against the back seat. I think it was might have been 7 inches this way, or 6 inches from the frame, and then like 7.5 from the top. Actually, this hole, that's where the indicator is. So 7 inches from here up to the top part, basically the like speaker valance, and then over here from the frame, 6 inches. And I'll show that again when I mount these. The reason why I'm highlighting this is because the brackets you'll see when I go into the car mounted this hole, and it wasn't in the right spot, and I'll show why over there. But in order to account for that, I went ahead and modified these, and I put these plates in here and drilled a hole. But really the key thing to take away from this segment is that these plates were made and put inside this bracket that came with the TTI, this hanger bracket, and they're at a slight angle. Other thing I wanted to note here is I grinded down the corners of this bracket because the weld beads kind of took up some room, and this allows them to this will allow it to sit flush instead of being kind of stuck out there. So starting from the back, you have the tailpipes, and they come with these brackets here, where these they come with these brackets you mount to the frame with one bolt and a nut on the other side and a lock washer. And I used a pre-existing hole, and this where this is located is dictated by, here's the hanger. When you get to the arch here, this part here is supposed to be, the highest part should be, based on the instructions, right over the axle. So I've done that, and that kind of sets the stage where everything else can go. And moving forward, you get into those hanger brackets and hangers that I talked about earlier. As you can see, here's the bracket. You measure from the top about 7.5 inches, which will place this hole here, and then over from the frame rail about 6 inches, and that was based on the instructions of location. I marked it out, and I drilled these holes. Going back to the modification of these brackets, you could see here that plate I added, that's at a unknown degree. What I did was I staged these, and the reason why I didn't use this hole is you could see my custom sway bar, my aftermarket sway bars. It's kind of in the way, but that wasn't the real reason that I wanted to move this. The real reason was with the highest part over the axle, where the male part goes into the female part, it would have put this hanger somewhere around here, which isn't where the recommended area is to clamp. The recommended area is past these cut grooves here. And what I did was I went and put all the pieces together all the way in. Each one of them, each male to female mate rendered probably from this tape forward 3.5 inches. So after I got the tailpipes in, I put everything up, and then I started trying to evenly space out any areas that that I needed in order to ensure that each section that mated had enough overlap so that the clamp would cover. The clamp would be sufficient to create a good seal. The reason, going back to why this metal modification here was at a degree, is that because the back of this seat doesn't seem, well, no, this is straight. The back of the seat's straight. But if you can tell, I don't know if you could tell, is as the tailpipes come in and the mufflers kind of toe in some towards when it meets up with the X pipe, it toes in towards the drive shaft. So this here isn't essentially a straight angle, which puts this at a twisting, right, and puts more pressure on these rubber hanger straps, which I think is probably okay, but I figured if I had to modify it anyway to kind of bring this in closer. One, to ensure that I clear the sway bar, which in some areas I've only got probably like 3/8 of an inch, but it's better than none. And then this isn't always like twisting and causing continuous pressure. It seems like it just fits better with that modification. But as a recommendation, well, one, if you're getting exhaust and a sway bar, kind of check into that. Now, I followed the instructions for the sway bar, and I don't think this is incorrect. I've explored a number of options, and I did a video on that. So I don't see moving this sway bar to kind of account for these hangers, so I felt like what I did was spot on. In regards to the taping mechanism, you'll see that tape on each one of the sections here as I go through. But these are pretty strong here. I'm shaking it, there's not a lot of movement. It's all locked in with a lock washer. You got your hanger bracket. So I'm actually really happy about this. I'm trying to get a better view. There was some lighting. Let's see. The exhaust going all the way down from this angle. C clamps. All of them are pretty much C clamps. So this was a C clamp, but with the hanger configuration. Then you got a C clamp from the muffler to the X pipe, and the X pipe to the intermediate pieces. But then from the intermediate pieces to the pipes that go directly to the risers, or if you have headers, these are specific risers. The factory risers. They had like a different strap. Basically just kind of like a hose clamp style. Oh man! So here's the blinding you with the light here. Coming back, come to the side of the car. Again, I had a space here. These are all about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch over there. None here. I couldn't move this any further. This one seems to fit nice, and then the other side has a bit of a, yeah, it's got basically a 1/2 inch here, and then those are those different clamps, and then this pipe here with that goes to the riser on the driver's side here. If I collapsed all the pipes into each other, like the male into the female, like utilizing the full 3¼ inch length, this pipe would almost be completely free. This side wasn't. I don't know why, but this one here didn't have any space, so I was really just accommodating this side and what it looks like. And then up to your risers, I went ahead and drilled, I don't know if you can see, but I drilled the hole there for the O2 sensor. You can see where they mate to the riser here. And there's my bung for the CO2 on the Phytech. That hole in there, I had to drill that. If you are curious about that, I called Phytech too. They just said, you know, as long as it's straight. Having it at a 10 degree, like the instructions say, is basically just to ensure moisture doesn't build on it, and that gives it longevity. But they never really seen these go out, so at this angle it's fine. But overall, I'm really happy with the exhaust installation process. I could certainly do it a lot faster the second time around. But overall, it seems like a good system to put in. There's one issue on this pipe here to the riser. I even fully tighten, I can fit a feeler gauge in there, and I think I'm going to just get another gasket and double up on that gasket so it seals up. But I can put like a .0015 thickness feeler gauge, and I can kind of shimmy it in there. And I've got those bolts like super tight, so but my rationale from doing this, it was a little pricey for this setup, but I would have had to tow the car. There was no exhaust before, I couldn't drive it. I would have had to tow the car somewhere, pay somebody to do it, my time. So it's the price is, it was still a little bit more expensive to go this right, and I had to do it myself, but it almost seemed like a wash. Put the roll pan on, and you can see the pipes are even. I got the turn downs. So overall, I'm really happy with this. I think that's it from